G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Remington Model 870 shotgun. This is an American-made pump-action shotgun, which was developed all the way back during the 1950s, and it's a weapon that has really stood the test of time because still some major military and law enforcement organizations choose to use this weapon rather than anything else. And I think on the mod pages I actually mentioned that this is the best-selling shotgun in history, so a testament to Remington's engineering prowess here, American reliability incarnate here, which makes it perfectly law-friendly for Fallout 4. So this is a law-friendly gun. I think it's like a reasonable facsimile of the 870 shotgun in the form of a pump-action shotgun in Fallout 76. So bam, perfect. This thing is law-friendly. That's always helpful. Uses the War Daddy animations, has some custom sounds as well. We'll get to those when we get to those, but for now, we'll look at the attachments. First of all, we've got the receivers, only pump action, so it's going to be semi-auto only, or rather pump action. 301 damage for the advanced receiver is pretty nice. That might be on par with about a combat shotgun in this game, which is going to mean it's going to be balanced, if a little bit lackluster. Next up, we've got the barrels, and right now we've got a standard, but you can have a light version, which will narrow your spread and reduce the recoil. A ported version will reduce the recoil even further, but give you a little bit of a VATS cost penalty, and with the same sort of narrow spread. So we'll go on that one because why not? It's unfortunate we can't increase the range on this thing. 83 range is basically nothing, so that might bite us in the ass and we get into actual combat. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting because this is the major aesthetical changes. So right now, it's the police. You can have Wingmaster, which makes it look different. Maybe it's more of a sporting variant there. But you can also change that to a more stainless steel finish if you go for a marine thing, complete with a... Is that like a polymer stock and grip there? That's pretty cool. You'll reduce your recoil with this again, give you extra stability, which I don't think is reflected in the weapon card at all, but will give you an extra little bit of bash damage, potentially useful for a shotgun if you've run out of rounds at an inopportune moment. It'll also increase your VATS cost again, so potentially this particular version not really that good for VATS at the moment, but we'll move on. Right now I've got iron sights. You can have enhanced ones, which will just add a rear sight to that to help you aim a little bit better. You can have glowing sights as well, just changes the tip there to be glowy, so you can see it in the dark a little bit easier. You can also have reflex sights, baskers, holographics. That one made by War Daddy, that's the animations. That one's Degenerate Dax sights there. There's a Hollow Sun, OKP, a red dot here, and also an ACOG for use when we use the slug rounds on this thing. But for now, we'll go for a basker sight because they're always nicer on open, and we'll move on. Next up, we've got the muzzles. You can have a compensator, which is going to reduce your range even further, but increase your accuracy. Don't do that one. A cylinder choke, which will widen your spread. A full choke will not increase your range. It will increase your accuracy, but that penalty to range is really not that great. You'll also get a little bit of extra damage through Ace Operator if you choose to throw on a suppressor, so we'll do that. We'll just have to be within melee distance to actually get any good damage out of this thing. Legendary effect is there if you need it. We'll skip over that for now. There's some damage sliders here. The most you can get is 100%. The least you can get is negative 25%, so it doesn't look like there's an option to make this thing do infinite damage with minus 99% sliders on this thing, so one step ahead of me there, I think. You can change the reticule on your basker sight, a circle, a cross, or a dot. I feel like a circle for a shotgun, sort of mirroring its spread, might be a little bit prudent. We'll do that. And right now we can have some flashlights on the side, either left or the right side. If you want to choose a flashlight, put it on the left side because your right side is the only way you can throw on a laser sight. I don't think you can have a laser sight and a flashlight on the same thing. You can actually. Well, that's helpful. But if you want to balance the weapon out a little bit more, you put things on opposite sides, right? And now we go to the rounds. So right now we've got buckshot. You can have birdshot, which will increase your pellets. So it potentially makes missing a target not as bad if more of those pellets hit them rather than not. But you will be reducing your damage significantly because that damage that you're seeing here is spread out between all of your pellets, which means they're all susceptible to the same amount of armor that the enemies that you'll be shooting at, so you'll end up doing a whole lot less damage, unless you throw on the explosive effect on this thing so you get more explosive pellets, but maybe we'll just leave that to later. You can also grab Dragon's Breath, which is not just a plus damage button here. You will lose a little bit of ballistic damage, but gain a little bit of that good old Skyrim fire damage there, which is not actually resistible by any armors in the vanilla game, so that's probably the best choice of ammunition for damage. And you've also got the Slug Shells, which uses a big projectile and is singular, so you can potentially use a shotgun more at range, and will actually reduce your damage compared to the birdshot, buckshot, and dragon's breath. So it's a curious balancing option there, but we'll go for the dragon's breath one now, and that is it for our 870 customization. It's a tactical mess, this thing now. This weapon has been injected onto the leveled list, so we've taken a quick trip over to Good Neighbor to see old mate Cleo, and hopefully we'll find out if she's carrying shotguns. Now, the easiest way to spot it is just look for 870, and look for numbers because they're all in capital letters. There's one right there. A Remington 870 shotgun, which is selling for 109 caps. That's cheap. That's really cheap. That's really odd. Okay, so you've got a plasma gun that's selling for a lot more. The Creation Club sniper rifle doesn't seem all that impressive either, but you're 109. Look, the Dragunov's selling for 1100. Okay, that's really weird. Perhaps they could probably increase the value of this thing because that's dirt cheap. You can get this at a very low level. 109 caps, you can make that in like 2 seconds in this game. So there you go. Easy, cheap Remington 870 shotguns for everyone. Alright, so here we are outside of Neponset Park. Here is our 870 in first person. Look at that giant circle on the reflex sight there. That's pretty good. And that giant lobster's got no idea where we are, except for the fact that he does. But yeah, he's not so scary now. We've got a big 12 gauge shotgun now, is he? Now, before we do anything else, let's take a quick look at this thing in third person. It's great. It's a really good looking shotgun. It's not really that heavy on the file size either, so they've done a pretty good job at making the textures small enough to not take up the hard drive, but they look good despite not being at a huge side. Anyways, so this one I've made exclusively for VATS. There's a laser sight on the side, but you can't see that normally, so really, it's just like the tried and true, just basically stock as a rock 870 shotgun, which is currently kicking these Mirelurk's asses. Yeah, that guy's decided to run away, and no, it's not happening like that. Lastly, we've got the version here with the ACOG scope, which is a see-through scope by the looks of it, which is okay, I guess, and the slug rounds, of course, go hand in hand with that, and I've discovered just from, you know, shooting at targets from pretty far away that this is a hit scan weapon, so the slugs, one of the design philosophies I would probably have when using a shotgun with slugs is that don't make the slugs hit scan, because then you just turn a shotgun into a sniper. So I'm not complaining, but I feel like it'd be a little bit better balanced if you would have a little bit of bullet travel time, have it like fire missiles instead. You could probably find like a slug round online, or just use the VATS projectile to make it not reach the target instantaneously, because when it does, well, you just get a snipe out of a shotgun, which, yeah, normally, yeah, I'm all about the versatility, but just something that I just put out there would make it a little bit more balanced, I suppose. It'll just makes it have a little bit more sense. And ooh, you could probably argue putting a choke on this thing would be prudent, but okay, we eventually got there against that turret. It was a very worthy adversary. Just go for center mass here. No headshot heroics here. That might be the balancing factor here. Sometimes it's just not gonna go exactly where you're aiming, which I don't think is that's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm not gonna be complaining. Anyway, so this glass here, I think we can shoot through it, to be honest. Just gotta make sure we get the muzzle over. There we go. And this sniping exchange might keep going. No. We're just going to be using this one now. That's only a baby gunner anyway. I kind of knew that. So shooting at her from this far out, probably not a huge deal if we don't get all of the damage. But I don't think this sneaking around is going to do me any better. So we'll get right into it. We'll go straight into the middle of Quincy and cause some trouble. And the reload on this thing, it's really fast. Despite this thing only having 6 rounds in its tube, I suppose, you can actually get the rounds off pretty fast. And even if you do the 1 shell per reload trick, it's actually fairly fast for its reload. So I don't feel like it's going to be a huge drag sitting out for 15 minutes whilst you wait for the thing to reload, which is nice. So if I find the next target here, we've actually popped a full reload before we even engage the next dude. So that's pretty good. That gunner kernel in there. We'll run out of bullets, but it's like we're slam firing in a way. And honestly, if you're the dude with the stick, you don't want to be charging at the woman with the shotgun. Man or woman. Anyone. Anyways, we'll go back over to this one. And for some reason, I just feel like the buckshot here is just doing better damage. And that is a 50 cal machine gun. That gunner definitely ate his Wasteland Wheat Bix this morning to be lugging that around. Alright. Good old M2 Browning. Okay, looks like we've found something a little bit... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, you're shooting with a Remington 872. Actually sounds the same when other dudes are firing at you. That's funny. But, if you notice, the rate of fire, I feel like is better when this thing is empty. And you can interrupt that reload too if you just hit the fire button. It'll just go over it. But we'll just empty the magazine and just keep spamming. Look how fast that is. That is so fast for one reloaded at a time and then firing as we fall down there. That's okay. A Molotov was coming on and you don't want to get set on fire. That's generally pretty bad for your health. Anyway, so we'll blow off this Assaultron's legs, maybe. I can't believe I didn't even get to blow off its legs. Or maybe I'm used to Fallout 76 shotguns just crippling everything that I look at. That turret goes down. Looks like we're ready to go back up topside again. We're not on fire, are we? No, we're fine. That's all good. And there's a reload animation in third person as well. We may as well just switch cameras for a second a little bit here. Gain slightly better situational awareness as we run around. Not terrible amounts of damage at all. I feel like for a shotgun, it's not held back by its ammo capacity, like you'd expect this thing to usually be. And that's making it pretty fun to use. Normally, I have a little bit of a bitch and a moan every time I use a shotgun, but not on this case. Might want to VATS that guy. Okay, so despite this thing using 12 gauge slugs, we've still got 71 range. That would explain the VATS accuracy on that occasion, but we've got concentrated fire and a bunch of criticals. We're getting half the amount of damage that we should be getting, but that's fine. Might be better off just to run straight at that guy and shoot him with point-blank shotgun shells rather than just try to ping him from there. A little bit of a cheap shot, but that's fine. I think there's a turret in this place. It's a little bit of inaccuracy. Not usually what you'd get, but an interesting balance choice. I've already spoken about this, but we'll quickly finish off the last gunner here, and we'll call it at least that's it for the standard. Then we've got to bring out some monsters, man. I think you've just put me in a nerd rage. Big mistake, buddy. Just as soon as I hit you, we pumped very aggressively during that nerd rage streak. We're just so pissed off that we lost our ability to aim. And the reason why old mate wasn't his power armor is because he parked it right there. I think there's a couple of suits of power armor parked in the one spot there. How unfortunate. Anyway, so the 870 has done pretty well thus far. I didn't think it'd actually do as well as what we're seeing here. It's quite a pleasing turn of events, as it turns out. So that's great. This weapon can also be worn through classic holstered weapons as well, so even better. It's a good apparel item. Alright, time to take on the Mighty Swan and his minion, who is in there usually, and... oh, he's invisible. Well, I'll try to get a couple of shots on him. If not, I'll just let him take care of himself. I can't see him through the foliage. Alright, sweet. We only got slightly blown up there. That's fine. Now, the real main event here is going to be shooting at the Swan with the slugs until we can no longer do that without sneak critting. Then we can switch to the main weapon here. I've got no crits in the bag to utilize, so we'll just get as many good sneak criticals as possible. 518 is an okay amount of damage, but as you can tell, when it gets a little bit closer, we can get a little bit more. And You can't see me, can you? A little bit closer to investigate. Still can't see it. The sneezing is just, it's like a little sneeze. Achoo! You can't hear that. Not like a full 12 gauge shotgun. Anyways, there's something else here, and it's a Feral Ghoul Reaver, and slight overkill, don't you think? Anyways, enter the explosive shotgun. There we go. Let's just line up his face, shoot it a few times. Again, this one is going to be the one with better VATS usage. I could have gone ahead and given it a reflex sight to increase its usage a little bit further in VATS, but I think we've got quite enough from what we got, and a quick reload before we turn the corner means we can give him a good old-fashioned full mag dump. And like I thought before, this thing has a higher rate of fire loading in it shell by shell, so this would be an incredibly difficult thing to master. You'd have to sit there for hours and hours doing that, but we're just that good apparently. Good animations, but wow. If you can do that, I mean, you've got the faster, the quick hands perk, and so with the quick hands, you got an extra reload speed. So perhaps not as egregious if you don't have that perk, but I'm always going to be utilizing it for weapon videos. But yeah, there you go. It's going to clean up Swan pretty quickly with an explosive approach, which I don't think anyone would be particularly surprised about. But we'll go back to non-monsters. I gotta try one more thing. Alrighty, welcome to the stealth mission here in Gunner's Plaza, and this is what the tactical light looks like on the shotgun. And if you go over to third person, you get this spectacular J.J. Abrams-esque lens flare on the front, so you'll be blinding people like you would back in Battlefield 3. But we'll get started here as these gunners all spawn in screaming for some reason, and we'll try to get as many stealth criticals as possible, and that might be difficult considering the fact that our vision of our targets have completely gone away. That's actually not too bad. That guy's got a power fist. Bad choice of weapon here, so that's not a bad start here at Gunner's Plaza. We'll quickly just duck around to this side of the room. Take out that gunner before he kills anyone, and whilst those turrets are preoccupied shooting at a place where I'm not, we'll just duck in there, take him out. We took out the explosive one, which was good because the actual explosions cast light sometimes. So you'll find that what happens is they'll shoot near you, and the light cast on you would be enough for the enemies to find out exactly where you are. There's one more there. We'll try to get some VATS criticals back, I suppose, and whilst we're at a little bit more range there, we've whipped the slugs out, a more medium range roll where the buckshot, or the dragon's breath in this case, wouldn't be doing as much. And switching over to, we'll keep the slug one out for now. We could potentially get a little bit of gun fu action here, so we'll try that. First three on these turrets. If they're hits, it's great. Probably doesn't have to be. There we go. That one's nice and close, and now that's a crit, and that's a crit there, and we'll take out the one in the room next. You know what? These turrets are going to go down. Perfect. And maybe we'll get this particular gunner sniped across there. One of them, surely. I feel like the accuracy could be tuned up a little bit. This is getting kind of ridiculous, but you know what? We'll just spray some dragon's breath in there. Who cares, right? We're bound to hit something. We're not going to be doing as much damage as a slug, but I feel like this is just going to be slightly better. And whoop, getting a little bit too close there. Almost got detected, but not quite. The mission here is to not get detected at all. We've got shot a few times just due to random panic fire, but that's fine. We can walk away from that. We can't walk away from being full autoed in the face by an MG42, now can we? So if we stay undetected, that won't happen. Also, the fact that I don't have that mod installed anymore, but, you know, that's just how it works. Maybe it's the scope that's off? That's better. That actually got the hit. And a quick reload in third person is in order. Why not? Nope, that's not going to happen. Really? I can't get that reloaded trigger in third person. Okay, this shotgun's behaving very strangely now, and I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe it's past midnight and the gremlins have taken over. They're sitting in the chamber doing some weird stuff. Anyways, we'll keep going. Still haven't been detected just yet. Let's see if we fall on the last hurdle here. Nope, that's fine. I probably, in retrospect, should have gone for buckshot here because the obnoxious bullets that you get out of the incendiary legendary effect is which is what the dragon's breath is here. Is it just blocks your aim. You shoot something and then you can't even see them anymore. So probably not the best choice there. But regardless, we've done it. Gunner's Plaza taken out without being detected even once. So that's pretty nice. And I think I'm gonna call it there for the Remington 870, and I think it's a pretty well-made shotgun. If there was anything that I have to change, I'd probably tweak the accuracy a little bit with the slug rounds there. It just doesn't seem to be as, you right there? Need to stand on one of these rings, do you? I wonder if that's an interplay reference right there, because they had the little rocket spinning around the globe before you when you booted up Fallout 1. But anyways, yeah, just tune up the accuracy on that slug round. I think it'll be a more well-rounded weapon, and I don't think I've got anything else to say about it other than it's a really well-made mod, and if you'd like to see it in your game, check out the link in the description below. Should be down there, and if you don't like this thing, then I'll probably find a mod alternative, or if you don't have access to it on console, I'll probably end up finding something pump action as an alternative for download. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Or you can play Fallout 76. The pump action shotgun is good in that game, right? Right? No.